first of all, thank you for making some time for us this early morning. Do you mind giving us a short introduction who you are?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, my name is Chris Smith, Head of Media Relations at BTC Inc. We are the company over Bitcoin Magazine and the Bitcoin Conference in Miami, and the one we are here today in Amsterdam.
Yeah, so that's immediately something I want to ask you. You started with the event in Miami, like XXL Next Level. How many years did you had it, Bitcoin in Miami?
Yeah, so I joined the team last year in November. And I've been here ever since.
Yeah.
I joined as an intern actually. So I was still in college and I was finishing up my degree, but was working pretty much full time as well, getting the event in Miami going last year. And went full time after I graduated in May, and I've been, I guess, the head of media relations ever since.
And what made you guys go from Miami to this time Amsterdam? This is the first time you guys are organizing it in this kind of setup in the Netherlands.
Yeah, that's a good question. Overall, in general, Bitcoin needs to go global. Our mission is hyper-Bitcoinization, and hyper-Bitcoinization doesn't happen if the U.S. is on board. The U.S. is great, don't get me wrong, but this is a global mission. And if we're just focused on the U.S., then we're not doing our job correctly. So Europe's just the first stop. We anticipate having an event in Asia, Oceania, South America.
So it's going everywhere. This is just the first step outside of the comfort zone maybe of the US, and now going to Europe, starting in Amsterdam, and then just expanding it.
I mean, Bitcoin is going global. Nothing you or I can do anything about that. Everybody global is going to know something about Bitcoin, use Bitcoin, and be able to enjoy and have Bitcoin as a method of payment and a method of storing their value. And us as a company, we want to follow that mission. If Bitcoin is going global, we need to as well.
But is there a chance that maybe a government can shut it down? You were saying it's going to happen either way. It's going to happen. Bitcoin is going global. But what if like the governments are going to shut it down or try to shut it down? We see it happening now and then, slowly in Europe, maybe with some laws within the US. Is that a real an option that's going to be shut down?
Sure, and I think that China is a great example of this. China shut Bitcoin down, but China's hash rate... they tried to, but China's hash rate just recently hit an all-time high. So when you look at that as an example, let's do it in the US, let's do it in Europe, it's not going to work. Bitcoin can't get shut down. You can't shut down the network. People are always going to be running nodes, always going to be mining the next block, and as long as the network is running, and as long as Bitcoin is producing the next block, it will continue to run no matter what the governments think about it. Yeah,
so that's basically the living proof that it can't be shut down.
Absolutely.
It's going global, and it's going next level.
Next level, it really is freedom money at its core. And everybody values freedom. And those who don't are the opposition of Bitcoin. And at this point, I think it's fair to say that, I mean, do you think they stand a chance, or do you think it's going?
Well, no, they can make it difficult. We saw it like in China, but in the end, just like you said, there's always an opportunity. There are always people that will be running nodes and will be mining and will be using it. And so I think the living proof is indeed it's not going to be shut down. It's gonna go.
I definitely agree. And as long as Bitcoin is going, we will be following, of course. We aim to be just the in-person center of Bitcoin. Sometimes I like to call us the marketing arm of Bitcoin. Because we're trying...
Basically, you are.
We're trying to bring Bitcoin to everybody in the globe. And whether that means in-person events or journalism with Bitcoin Magazine, articles, we try to touch a couple different areas, but all of it is enhancing Bitcoin, hyper-Bitcoinization, and really moving the needle forward.
So whatever it takes, basically.
Whatever it takes, absolutely.
And what's going to be the next place after Amsterdam for the event?
For the European event,
start in Europe.
I was just talking about this earlier, but we made our Bitcoin European conference handle Bitcoin Conf EUR for a reason. Amsterdam is great. But we don't just want Bitcoin for Amsterdam. We want to be able to move, and if there was any other city that was really owning Bitcoin adoption, we wanted to be able to kind of move to that city and bring Bitcoiners there. I guess this is also a call if you're in the government of any city and you're looking to move the needle forward. Bitcoin Magazine would love to join you in that.
Oh, maybe Rotterdam next time.
Hey.
Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
They got some competition right now, so.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll see. In your own personal story, because you're pretty young, and you're already sometime into Bitcoin on the next level. Basically, you're being one of the guys that is making it possible for the entire world to touch it, to see it, to understand it. How did you get into crypto? Into the crypto space? How did that happen?
Yeah, so I've been in crypto since 2019, and here and there, I've put my hand in a lot of pockets, and I've kind of settled into myself of being Bitcoin only. I don't necessarily call myself a Bitcoin maximalist. No. I agree with a lot of Bitcoin maximalism ethos and what that stands for.
And what's the biggest one you agree with? What's the number one?
The biggest one is that our focus should be on Bitcoin until Bitcoin succeeds.
And then is maybe the time for trying new things, or is that?
Possibly. Yeah. And I think that's an evaluation that can happen at that point.
Yeah.
But at some point, when you look at the kind of economic macro scene right now, and you look at what struggles are being brought upon people and what we're actually trying to solve here, a lot of it is a distraction, in my own opinion, and focusing on Bitcoin and Bitcoin only is a great way to make sure that at least that goal happens. And as far after that, I don't know. I guess we'd have to talk when that happens. But there's one goal now and one goal only, and that's to make Bitcoin the global money, the preferred money, and some place that everybody in the globe can store their value, free, sovereign, and away from governmental pressure.
Yeah. So no doubt about Bitcoin in you, but how did you touch it for the first time, like the entire crypto space?
Yeah, so in 2016, 2017, I was very involved in the Minecraft developer community. Yeah. And they were very big on Bitcoin. They used Bitcoin actually for transactions to purchase plugins. And
like in-game already using it, or?
So not necessarily in-game, but more back of house, being able to pay developers in Bitcoin. A lot of them were actually developing in countries where internet wasn't even legal, Minecraft development wasn't even legal. So there had to be some form of payment that you could use. So I was interacting with it there, but I didn't fully understand what it was. I'm only 23, so back in 2015, 2016, when this was going on, I was a little young and just kind of entering in the community. But in 2019, I really started to take the deep dive, and once COVID kind of hit the world, that really sparked me. That was the clicking moment for me where it all made sense. I saw the vision, I saw the goal, and I decided to take the deep dive myself.
Yeah, a good moment, I think, if you look back, because that it seems to be the timing that a lot of things are changing, at the least, to say changing.
Absolutely, yes. And in addition to that, following that, I was in college and I was in a fraternity at the time. I was one of the executives of the fraternity, and
so a nice position to put it on some other people's vision. Maybe Bitcoin.
So why we were, this is kind of one of my biggest sparking moments in Bitcoin. We needed a way to kind of accept dues and hold our own money. Because we couldn't at the time, because the school would not allow any fraternities to actually hold their own money in their own bank account. They had to control the bank account, so we didn't actually own our funds. At any point in time, the school could seize our bank account, take away all of our funds, and it really wasn't our own money. It felt like it was always the school's, and we weren't able to use it for what we wanted. So at the time, me and the president, his name's Sean Hagan, we were taking the Bitcoin deep dive and decided that we were going to be the first fraternal organization to follow in Sailor's suit. We ended up holding Bitcoin on our balance sheet and accepting dues in Bitcoin.
That's really cool.
And I wrote an article about it on Bitcoin Magazine. So we were the first fraternal organization in general in the whole entire world to be able to kind of have that accomplishment. And to this day, they're still accepting Bitcoin. A lot of the fraternity members pay their dues in Bitcoin for the semester.
Yeah.
And it is the #1 way our alumni donate to the organization, because the school does take a fee for all donations that happen to the fraternity. But with Bitcoin, they don't. Not your keys, not your coins, right?
Yeah.
So we hold all of our Bitcoin, or they do. I'm a graduate now and an alumni, but they hold it all in cold storage. They have a cold wallet that's passed from secretary to secretary, and it's really started a cool tradition.
That's a perfect example in the real world, I think. Maybe born out of a necessity, because you couldn't master your own money, basically. You always had to rely on a third party, and this is even in the US, in the situation, a new way to put it completely into your control.
Absolutely, and in that instance specifically, there were so many middlemen. There wasn't just the bank, there was the school, there was all the permission layers. You had to ask so many individuals for permission just to get access to your money. But
with your own money, basically.
Your own money, exactly.
It should be.
But with Bitcoin, cuts out the middleman. It's directly from peer to peer. No middleman involved, and you get to decide when you move your money or what you spend your money on. And that was very important for us, and I know very important for a lot of other organizations looking to do the same.
Yeah, so it's maybe just a start for a new world, basically, in which this is the new standard.
I would say so. The Bitcoin standard is the goal, in my opinion. Not saying that nothing else needs to exist. I'm not under the opinion that we need to just switch to a Bitcoin standard like that. I don't think that's really realistic.
No.
But we need to slowly and over time be educating people on Bitcoin. We don't need to just say, download Coinbase and buy some Bitcoin and don't learn about it much. No, we need to go the extra mile. If you're going to introduce someone into Bitcoin, you need to be able to introduce them to all the steps of holding their own keys, being able to transfer Bitcoin to cold storage, be able to really be a Bitcoiner and understand the technology, not just be a user.
Make them understand it, and then they want to use it, basically.
Exactly.
Not because it's taught them, but they want to because of the new opportunities.
Exactly, and I personally have never met somebody who fully understands the technology and doesn't use it on a daily basis.
No. So that's also living proof. If you understand it, you know how it works, you just want to use it.
Absolutely.
Absolute perfect base for a new Bitcoin standard.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, cool. Thank you very much.
Of course. It was great talking.
Yeah.